been confirmed that the Brazilian chickens have been kicked out of the hotel due to calls that the hotel got. And Stephanie said, like, oh, on true calls, I guarantee you they were letting the hotel know how many people that they really had in that hotel room. Anywhere that they go, any hotel, obviously haters are gonna call the hotel and they're gonna end up getting kicked out. These children need something stable. These children need their own beds. And it's messed up though if people are calling saying like false shit or, you know, giving like outrageous lies. Like that is where I draw the line. My prediction is CPS is gonna get involved. Those children are gonna get removed. What are they gonna do? Constantly just move from hotel to hotel? But I predicted that. I bet you the children are gonna end up getting removed. Stephanie and Drew are gonna stick together. They're not gonna change anything. Also too, I believe that they're using. And then
they're speculating that they're still in the hotel room, but even so, if this is fake, they're not making themselves look good. You have now a second chance to move in with your mom, give those kids a stable environment, and have a roof over their heads. However, you didn't choose that. You are once again showing everybody that this man comes before your kids. Y'all, whenever he was doing work and bringing things out to the U-Haul truck, he was struggling, things dropping everywhere. Oh, but Stephanie always has a message for us.
The Jenkins family's story just took a turn for the worse. In a shocking twist, they were kicked out of the hotel room they had just moved into. Once again, this family of 7 is on the streets, struggling to find stable housing. Why? Because according to Stephanie, Drew and herself couldn't be bothered to get jobs to provide for their children. But Stephanie isn't taking any responsibility for this. Instead, she's blaming the public, claiming that the hateful calls to the hotel are what led to their eviction.
Now they're making a video stating that they are in a new hotel now. The video they posted is clearly from the old one. I don't even care. I'm not going to argue with a bunch of people on the internet. If y'all think they're in a new one, they left the other night, they left today, they left tomorrow, I don't care. The whole point of it was to let y'all know that they were rage baiting and exploiting those kids as usual. And the reason that they did that was because they know people are so upset over the fact that they abandoned and neglected those cats. I mean, the cat was in such bad shape that literally TikTok was taking videos down thinking it was animal because it was. But again, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to argue with y'all. I know what I've been doing behind the scenes. I know the people that I've been in contact with, and I know how hard I've been trying to do anything I can for these people. Stephanie doesn't want help. She wants a handout.
But is that really the truth? Can a bunch of random phone calls really make an established hotel kick out its guests? Or is there something more to the story? Could it be that packing a family of 7 into a cramped hotel room where the situation might have become a safety hazard played a bigger role? Let's break it down. Stephanie's social media rant painted a picture of her as the victim, where she blamed the public for calling the hotel and causing their eviction. She specifically mentioned how people were pretending to care about her children, but ultimately wanted to split up the family and send the kids to foster care. This portrayal plays heavily on emotional manipulation, painting the family's situation as one where their eviction was the result of malicious interference, rather than a direct consequence of their own choices. However, let's stop and think about what Stephanie is advocating for. Staying together in a cramped hotel room versus ensuring that the children are provided with a stable and safe environment. Is staying together in a potentially unsafe living situation really the best choice for the children's well-being? The answer here seems to be no.
But Brazilian Jenkins kicked out of the hotel room as of like 20 minutes ago. And here's the deal, I'm not surprised. Honestly, it was bound to happen. I'm only surprised that it happened so quickly. In her newest video, she does a voiceover when they're in their old apartment and the floors are looking gross as hell. And she's like, y'all got us kicked out. And that to me, really, like the audacity. Like, it's not the fact that 7 people are crammed into a hotel room. It's not the fact that maybe there were noise complaints because your man's screaming into his headset, or perhaps children being rambunctious crammed up in a hotel room. It's not the fact that perhaps you brought fleas and mange into the hotel because we saw the condition of your cat. Nah, it's the internet's fault. But remember, the internet has access to your children and to your living situation because you exploit them for views and for money. And in her voiceover, she also says something like, well, we're not going to stay with my mom, and mom, you better be careful. I'm going to start talking because I truly want to hear why. What is the awful things your mother did to you that you refuse to utilize her and her offer to give all those children, your dusty ass man's son included, a safe and stable home?
While it's understandable that Stephanie wants her family to stay together, the truth is that a better living environment would likely benefit the children far more in the long run than just being physically together in a hotel room. Stability is key to a child's development, and it's important for parents to recognize when a situation is too toxic or unsafe for their kids. The children, as we know, have already lived through multiple unstable living situations. Drew's son has moved between apartments, while Stephanie's daughters have been in similar experiences, shuffling between different caregivers, Currently, they are in a hotel room with no guarantee of long-term security. It's not difficult to see how this might negatively affect the children's sense of security. It's not just about keeping them in one place physically. It's about giving them a chance at a stable future, which is something Stephanie and Drew are struggling to provide.
She's the different one. She's kind, she's compassionate, she's funny, and she's loyal. She doesn't fit into the boxes society tries to put her in, and she doesn't want to. She's unapologetically herself, and that's what makes her shine. She's the kind of person who lights up a room just by walking in.
I want to hold it.
Her kindness is a beacon, drawing others to her like moths to a flame. She's always there with a smile and a kind word, ready to lift others up when they're feeling down. Her sense of humor is infectious, bringing joy and laughter wherever she goes. She has a way of finding the funny side of things, even in the darkest of times. Her loyalty is unlike any other.
As adults, they are supposed to be the ones making tough decisions, the ones who are looking out for the future of their children. They must make choices that prioritize their children's well-being, but sadly, as time passes, the children will eventually grow up and look back on their childhood. It's easy to see how they might resent their parents for not doing more to provide them with a stable, safe environment.
Already keeping up with their eviction from Stephanie's page, and she literally started the whole countdown anyways. Anytime that I have brought up this family, it was literally about things that they are doing to their children and to their animals, how they are using their followers and their platform to do nothing to better their situation. And just because I'm harsh does not mean that I'm bullying.
The question remains, are Stephanie and Drew willing to make those hard decisions, or will they continue to allow their emotional attachments and refusal to change to dictate their family's future? Stephanie's personal family drama became a focal point when she turned her frustration toward her mother. In an emotional outburst, Stephanie claimed that the children didn't want to live with her mother and made accusations of old trauma. She even warned her mother that she was willing to expose her for things she had done in the past. However, Stephanie's claims raise more questions than answers. Why does she feel the need to bring up her mother's past actions now? Is she using this as a way to gain sympathy from the public? Is there something more profound and unresolved going on in their relationship? There are too many unanswered questions here, and Stephanie's actions only add to the confusion. One clear contradiction in her story comes when she admits that her mother offered to take the children in, yet Stephanie turned the offer down. According to Stephanie, the refusal was due to the fact that the family would not be complete without Drew.
What would the plan be if you guys don't find housing? Okay, I don't know of another plan besides getting a hotel and getting a storage unit, because even the fact that I have 4 siblings who have housing out here and a mother, none of them have offered for us to stay with them until we figure out some kind of situation, nor would I even want to stay with any of them.
While Stephanie's emotional attachment to Drew is understandable, her decision to prioritize him over providing her children with better living conditions raises serious concerns. Stephanie is in essence choosing to remain in an unstable and unhealthy situation because of her emotional dependence on Drew, a man who, by all counts, isn't contributing to the family's welfare. This decision is not just concerning for her own well-being, but for the well-being of her children as well. It's not just about keeping Drew around for the sake of keeping the family together. It's about the choices that come with that decision. If Stephanie is so angry at her mother, accusing her of being irresponsible, why does she turn to her for help in the first place? And when her mother offers assistance, why does she dismiss it and lash out instead? The contradictions in Stephanie's behavior are troubling. She seems caught between wanting to blame others for her problems and not being willing to take the steps necessary to make things better for her children. Her behavior becomes more difficult to understand the more she speaks. Stephanie's decision to share the details of their living situation, specifically the name of the hotel, put her family in a very vulnerable position. After revealing where they were staying, it didn't take long for the public to respond with criticism, and soon after, they were evicted. But was the eviction really a result of public pressure? Was it the calls from strangers that led to their removal from the hotel? Or was there more to it than that? Let's look at the situation with a critical eye. The hotel, Evergreen Inn and Suites, likely has its own set of rules and protocols, especially when it comes to safety and capacity limits. A family of 7 cramped into a small hotel room could have raised concerns about overcrowding and safety, which would have likely caught the attention of management. It's also worth considering that the noise level of the children, left unsupervised while Stephanie and Drew went to a doctor's appointment, may have created disturbances that affected the hotel's reputation or comfort of other guests.
It's been confirmed that the Brazilian chickens have been kicked out of the hotel due to amount of calls that the hotel got. And Stephanie said, like, oh, on true calls, I guarantee you they were letting the hotel know how many people that they really had in that hotel room. Anywhere that they go, any hotel, obviously haters are going to call the hotel and they're going to end up getting kicked out. These children need something stable. These children need their own beds. And it's messed up, though, if people are calling saying, like, false shit or, you know, giving, like, outrageous lies. Like, that is where I draw the line. My prediction is CPS is going to get involved. Those children are going to get removed. What are they going to do? Constantly just move from hotel? But I predicted that. I bet you the children are going to end up getting removed. Stephanie and Drew are going to stick together. They're not going to change anything. But also, too, I believe that they're using it. And then they're all.
It's not far-fetched to imagine that these factors contributed to the decision to ask the Jenkins family to. Stephanie's tendency to blame others for her misfortunes is a recurring theme throughout her story. While she films herself organizing the hotel room, giving everyone a clear view of their living condition, she seems to ignore the reality that her choices have led them to this point. It's almost as if she doesn't recognize that her public sharing of personal details opened her family to scrutiny. If she knew that people were already upset about their living situation, why continue to broadcast it to a larger audience? Instead of focusing on finding a stable home for her children, Stephanie seems more concerned with maintaining her image as a victim, which only distracts from the real issue, the well-being of her family. Moreover, despite the obvious signs that they were headed toward eviction, Stephanie waited until the last minute to start looking for alternative housing. She knew the eviction was coming, yet took no immediate steps to secure a new place for her children. This delay reflects a lack of responsibility and planning, and the blame should not fall on the public or the hotel. The Jenkins family's current situation is a direct result of their own decisions or their lack of. Stephanie's refusal to acknowledge her role in this situation and her habit of blaming external factors only add to the complexity of the situation. She needs to take accountability and focus on securing a better future for her children rather than continuing the cycle of blame and avoidance. Drew's health issues have become a constant excuse for the family's current predicament. According to Stephanie, Drew hasn't been working because of these health concerns, and she's been using this as a reason for their financial instability. However, the most glaring issue here is that they didn't even know that Drew's health issues were until recently. The fact that they've been relying on this excuse for months without having any concrete answers from a doctor raises serious questions about their priorities and decision making. The timing of the doctor's visit is especially troubling. Instead of getting Drew checked out immediately, they waited until after they were evicted from the hotel, at which point Stephanie seemed to realize they should finally get answers. This delay speaks volumes about their approach to managing their situation. Why didn't they prioritize finding out what was wrong with Drew earlier? If his health was truly a barrier to working, wouldn't it have made more sense to address the issue before they were faced with the consequences of financial instability and eviction? Furthermore, the decision to allow this health excuse to continue without seeking proper medical advice or solutions shows a lack of proactive planning. Stephanie was more concerned with protecting Drew's image and maintaining the family unit in its current form than she was with taking the practical steps to secure their future. This dynamic is troubling because it reveals that Stephanie's priorities are often skewed. Her focus appears to be on keeping the family together no matter how dysfunctional or unstable the situation may be, rather than focusing on what would truly be best for their children. It's evident in her reluctance to make the tough decisions, like pushing Drew to get the help he needed or finding ways to provide financial stability. She's trapped in a cycle of excuses and emotional attachment to Drew, which prevents her from seeing the bigger picture and taking the necessary actions to improve the family's situation. At this point, the health excuse is starting to lose its credibility as the family continues to face the same struggles without tangible solutions. Drew's health should have been addressed long ago, yet this issue keeps getting pushed aside. The question remains, How long will they continue to use his health as a crutch, preventing them from making the necessary decisions to create a better life for their children? One of the most alarming aspects of Stephanie and Drew's situation is the moment when they left their young children alone in a hotel room while they went to a doctor's appointment. The decision to leave a 5 and 6-year-old unattended in an unfamiliar environment raises a multitude of concerns. Why didn't Stephanie stay with them? Couldn't Drew, despite his supposed health issues, have managed the appointment on his own, or had someone else assist him? The fact that they both left the hotel room, leaving the children to fend for themselves, paints a disturbing picture. It suggests a lack of proper planning and prioritization when it comes to the safety and well-being of their children. If Stephanie was truly concerned about Drew's health, why couldn't she have arranged for someone to watch the children or reschedule the appointment? If Drew was really too sick to manage his own, why wasn't it an immediate priority for Stephanie to ensure that the children were safe and supervised? This moment highlights a deeper issue in their decision-making process, a disregard for basic safety and responsibility in favor of handling personal matters without considering the consequences. The couple seems to be operating in a reactive manner rather than planning ahead and addressing situations with the necessary care and forethought. Their decision to leave the children alone demonstrates a lack of proper judgment, putting the kids at risk in the process. Beyond just the immediate danger of leaving young children unsupervised, this situation raises concerns about how they've been managing their family dynamic over time. If this was the level of thought given to a simple doctor's appointment, what other decisions have they made regarding their children's safety and well-being that may not be immediately visible? Have they been consciously placing their personal convenience or emotional needs ahead of their children's safety and stability? The lapse in judgment isn't just a one-time mistake. It highlights an ongoing issue in their parenting and decision-making. It's concerning to think that over time, their children might grow up with an understanding that their safety wasn't always the top priority. The lack of proper supervision and planning reveals an unsettling pattern in their behavior that could have lasting effects on their children's sense of security and trust in their caregivers. At this point, it's clear that the Jenkins are making one wrong decision after another, and it's their children who are paying the price. Stephanie's inability to take responsibility to prioritize their children's well-being over her emotional attachment to Drew is alarming. She keeps ranting about the hate, but what she should be focusing on is making a plan to provide a stable home for her family. Let's hope that this time, after moving into yet another hotel, Stephanie stops blaming the public and starts taking accountability. The children deserve more than bare minimum of what their parents are currently providing. The question remains, will they ever wake up and realize that they need to do better for their children, or will they continue living in this bubble of denial? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this family's ongoing situation.